Welcome into the Inside Indiana Show. I'm Editor-in-Chief Ken Bikoff, along with publisher Ed Magoni. And Ed, the Hoosiers kicked off the 2011-12 basketball season with Hoosier Hysteria at Assembly Hall last Saturday. It was an event certainly that was put together by Indiana to impress the recruits, but it also was a fun show for the fans as well. I personally think it was one of Indiana's best productions in years in the event. Victor Oladipo opened with some singing. You had some backup dancers working. They had a three-point contest, dunk contest, a short scrimmage, which we'll get to in a second. But your thoughts on the whole event and just the way that it all went down?
I think it like you said, it went pretty smoothly, Ken. I think there was a little bit of a hiccup there at the beginning when the women's program, their video didn't work out, but beyond that, they had it, lighted. They had a professional lighting company come in and try to add a little bit of atmosphere. The fans certainly turned out en masse. I mean, that was the most fans I've seen there in probably 8 to 10 years.
And it's a great atmosphere.
And it was really rocking. I mean, the fans really got into it. They gave Coach Crean a huge round of applause in front of the recruits, which is certainly a good thing. Jordan Hall's got a huge round of applause. The seniors got a nice hand. Gary Harris, he was chanted his name several times. Obviously, he was a big part of it, being moved to Saturday and all. But I think maybe it drug on a little bit too long toward the end because they had the basket malfunction after the dunk contest and all that stuff. But other than that, I thought it was very well done, very nicely produced. I think it moved along well at a decent pace. And like you said, there was lots of celebrities there with DJ White and Eric Gordon and T. John Job, obviously, big deal. But it was a fun event for the fans. It was free, fun, and it was a great opening to the season.
Now, the basket malfunction that Ed's talking about is during the dunk contest. A Will Sheehy dunk broke the rim on the north side of Assembly Hall, and there was a little delay while maintenance came out and tried to fix that. But, Calbert Cheney, director of basketball operations, he got a huge ovation. Bill Raftery was there and said this could be the start of something beautiful. And certainly it remains to be seen exactly how the season's going to play out. But in watching the event, certainly they are something for fun. But in watching the three-point contest especially, what do you think that we learned about maybe where the Hoosiers are developing in terms of their long-range shooting?
Well, I think it's going to be significantly better. I mean, last season it was basically Jordan Halls and everyone else. And this year they seem to have, Will Sheehy seems to have worked out on his jumper in the offseason. Victor Oladipo spent a lot of time in the gym working on his jump shot. Austin Etherington brings another guy who can shoot to the table. Matt Roth actually put the ball on the floor during the scrimmage and shocked everyone, and then backed it back out and hit a 3 too. So, I mean, just him being able to add that extra little dribble drive to his game is going to clear him some space to get off his shot. But Jordan Halls continues to just impress with his 3-point range. I mean, he was incredible during the 3-point shootout. I know Austin Etherington ended up winning it with a 10-point shot, I think, there from half court. But even Derek Elston shot well. He was in the finals. Cody Zeller, won his shootout with Victor Oladipo. So, I mean, you have big guys who can shoot. You have guards who can shoot. You have small forwards who can shoot. It's been a while since we've said that Indiana has a team who can really shoot the basketball, but I think this one has a chance to do it.
Yeah, and Zeller seems that he's going to be able to know where to pick his spots with that. He's not somebody who's going to fall in love with that long-range jumper, but it certainly brings a different element to his game. Now, certainly, the Hoosiers also have plenty of athleticism. The dunk contest showed off that. Cody Zeller took part in that. And you had Will Sheehy and Victor Oladipo in the finals of that. Will Sheehy won it. But that duo of Sheehy and Oladipo, Ed, they're two guys that have bulked up physically, that seem to be playing with a little bit more aggression, a little bit more of an edge, and a lot more confidence than they had at the same time last year.
Well, I think when they came in as freshmen, they were just kind of seen as like the athletic, two athletic kids. Actually, no one knew really what to expect from Will Sheehy, I don't think. I think we all knew he was athletic, but we didn't know if he was going to be able to do anything with his athleticism as a freshman. And certainly he has improved dramatically, I think, in my opinion. I saw him play at the Pro-Am in Indianapolis this summer. He impressed me there. He impressed me again last at Hoosier Hysteria during the scrimmage, the dunk contest. And I think he's not just he's just not athletic anymore. He's refined his game to the point where he can shoot it now. Victor Oladipo has been added a shooting aspect to his game that wasn't. I mean, he took some 3-point shots last season, but it wasn't a very high percentage shot for him. But he's also added ball handling. I think he's really worked on his ball handling, and his ability to shoot the long range shot is going to help him, help him get by defenders and get to the rim where he can finish. And Will Sheehy seems to just be running into a very nice player as well.
And that's one thing that really impressed me was the ability of Indiana to find those creases, go into the basket, and to me, they're going to be able to stretch defenses a lot better than they have previously. Now, we saw a little bit of that during the scrimmage. Scrimmage wasn't an event that featured a lot of defense in it. It's a fun little event there. But what do you think that we learned from the scrimmage?
Well, I certainly thought the scrimmage was smoother than it had been in the last couple of seasons. I mean, the last couple of seasons it was like watching paint dry. I mean, no one could hit a shot.
Lots of turnovers.
Yeah, it just seemed very discombobulated. Not much flow to the game. This one had a lot of flow, which is certainly an improvement. The ball handling seemed crisper. The shooting seemed better. The athleticism seemed better. The transition game was certainly smoother, which are all things that Tom Crean has been trying to get the kids to do here the last 3 years. And now maybe in the fourth year we're actually going to see some of what Tom Crean's been hoping that the program could develop into. I thought, obviously the leading scorers were Sheehy, Jordan Halls, and Zeller. And all three of them were very impressive in that game. But I thought Verdell Jones looked a little bit stronger with the basketball. I thought Derek Elston certainly looked much improved after he's still on the road to 100% after his off-season surgery with the hernia, but certainly last season that was affecting him. No one knew about it at the time, sure. but he told me earlier this off-season that he could even had pain when he was tying his shoes. So he played in some serious pain last season that really held back his game. Victor Oladipo looked good, not just as an athlete, but also in ball handling and being able to find Will Sheehy for dump-offs and passing the ball. I thought there was a lot of positives to take from it.
Now, of course, Christian Watford didn't take part in the event. He had a minor foot injury. He's in a walking boot, but that isn't expected to be a long-term problem. But certainly it's going to give the Hoosiers yet another weapon, Ed, that they're going to be able to use to throw a lot of different things. And like you said, I think that this is a team that is getting much, much closer to the one that Tom Crean envisioned, because they do have four classes worth of talent in the program, guys who have been through things, and that could really help in the long run. Now, my only question about this team is where they're going to be from defense and rebounding. We're not going to find that out until we see them in live game action, the first one, an exhibition game, November 5th against Indianapolis.
Yeah, I agree with you on the defensive standpoint. I think the rebounding is going to be better just because of Cody Zeller and Will Sheehy and Victor Oladipo are all obviously solid rebounders from their small forward / wing positions. I think their athleticism and their added strength is going to help them be even more effective rebounders this season than they were last season. Christian Watford can rebound the basketball. Tom Pritchard can rebound the basketball. Derek Elston can be a good rebounder now once he gets to 100% health. But Cody Zeller, he just has a sixth sense about him. You could see it in high school when he played. I mean, he just can read the ball where it's going to come off the rim. He didn't do a lot of that in the scrimmage, per se, so people are basing all their opinions on Cody Zeller on that scrimmage. He looked great in transition, but he didn't necessarily have that many rebounds. But, once the game slows down a little bit into a half-court set, a little bit more, you're going to see him be able to rebound with basketball and really help Indiana in that phase of the game. My big question for this season is, they need to find a primary ball handler. I think, you need to decide whether Jordan Halls or Verdell Jones is going to be your primary ball handler. Last season they tried it both ways. They wanted Halls off the ball so he could shoot like be able to do to shoot the three-pointers because he was really their only threat from long range. But now that he's able to put the ball on the floor and pull up and hit the jump shot a little bit more, he may be able to play the point guard more for you and be able to distribute the basketball and be a scorer at the same time. And that'll also allow Verdell Jones to play off the ball. But, Verdell is still going to handle the ball, so they need to make a decision there on who's going to be the primary ball handler. I think that's going to be the big question in my mind. Yeah, rebounding and ball handling and defense, all of that's going to be a big question mark. Now, one question mark that does not exist for the Hoosiers on the gridiron is just how good their defense is, and the answer was it wasn't very good. Last week against Wisconsin, they lose 59-7, and when we come back, Ed and I will take a look at how the Hoosiers did against the Badgers.
it going? What's up, buddy? Doing good? Come on, let me in!
Want to get inside Indiana? Call 800-282-GO-IU today to get the best in-depth coverage you'll find anywhere on the Indiana Hoosiers. You'll get 12 full-color glossy issues packed with the Hoosier news you crave, plus our exclusive online express edition featuring game previews, reviews, and much, much more, all for just $49.95. Inside Indiana. You can't get closer to IU athletics without a scholarship.